Hey, how's it going, everyone? So today's going to be a little bit of a different video than I'm normally doing. Uh, Basically, I just wanted to let people know who I am, I guess. Because I know everybody goes on and visits everybody's Facebook, I mean, not Facebook, YouTube channels, watches their videos, but everybody likes to put a persona about who they are. Like, they want to show all the good things, bad things. Sometimes it just all depends. Mostly it's good things, and it makes it seem like that they don't have any tough times in their life. So I'm going to kind of just tell y'all kind of how I was raised, kind of thing, and tell you to where I am right now. So when I was born in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia, and my family didn't have much. My mother married my father, and my father and my grandfather owned a sand and refinish and floor company, which is really was my grandfather's, but he worked there. And he made pretty good money. My grandfather did great at his business. He had like 6 or 7 guys, I believe, working with him. And my grandmother stayed home, and that's on my dad's side. Now, my mom's side, however, my grandfather was in the telephone company, and he was also big into the church. I believe he was a deacon as well in the church. So I have basically hard working in my DNA, basically, and God. Those are the two main things. My mom pushed us to go to church all the time, even though we didn't want to. we wanted to stay home, but it didn't always work out that way. We always had to go until we got, I guess, teenagers, and I decided that I didn't want to go, and that's a shame because God has blessed me in many ways. So first off, to go back as being a child, I was allergic to everything, and I mean everything. So my mom had a tough time with me, having to give me baths all the time and everything. It was tough. And so we rented houses and stuff. I don't know, my mom stayed home for a while, and my dad became a security guard eventually. And he didn't make much money. I think, matter of fact, until he died, I think he was only making like 14 something an hour, or till he retired. So he really didn't make much money. My parents got divorced when I was about 8, I think it was. And so we moved into Section 8 housing. Worst place ever, I'm not gonna lie. Roaches on you all the time. I mean, I even have an embarrassing time where I went to school one day and a roach fell out of my jacket while I was at school. We had Payless shoes. We didn't have much. We didn't really care really either. But I just knew when I got old enough, I did not want that experience for my kids. I did not want my kids to have roaches and stuff and drug deals going outside and just all the stuff you wouldn't want to happen. I didn't want my kids around that. So I knew I wanted to work hard. So so my mom remarried, and we got out of Section 8. Her new husband, my stepfather, he had us live with him. And so it got us out of that section, which helped a lot. But he had 2 sons, myself and his oldest, which were about 2 months different in age. We started mowing grass, which kids these days, I swear they don't do anything except for play video games. I don't get it, but I try to even get my oldest daughter to go do something like that, mow grass to make some money or whatever. But anywho, so we did that. My brother and I, we probably made anywhere from $100 to $300 a weekend for 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. I mean, that was phenomenal. However, we blew the money all the time. You'd go to Toys R Us right down the road, and we'd go buy the next Nintendo game that we wanted to get and a whole bunch of junk food for the weekend. So anyways, we did not invest our money or anything like that, but we had an awesome time with it. But anyways, that we pushed that. So to move on a little bit more, I moved in with my father when I was about 15, almost 16. And my brother and I both went there. And with my schooling, one of my classes was I had to go get a job. So I got a job in a department store. I did learn a few things, and I also helped my father because he reopened sanding and refinishing floor business himself. So I helped him a little here and there, made decent money with it, but wasn't what I wanted to do. I liked business, I enjoyed business, but my dad looked at it as that I was too young to give him any input on how to run a business. So he didn't listen to me and stuff, and that's fine. I mean, it's his business. Eventually, he didn't make, I guess, the money that he was hoping for, and eventually he just didn't work doing that. He was still a guard, and he did that on the side, and eventually he thought that he could keep doing that after he retired. So he retired eventually after 32 years, I believe, as a security guard, and went into his business. Now, he didn't make it very far, I guess. I don't know, but I know it didn't work out in his favor. He didn't really give me the whole input of everything, and I really didn't ask. Him and I got in a big argument because he blamed me for some stuff, so I didn't talk to him for a long time, probably about 4 or 5 years, probably even longer. But luckily, my wife now had me start talking with him before he passed, which I'm grateful that she did. So anyways, keep on moving. So ended up working there, ended up going to a Ford dealership, worked there, became a supervisor for the detail shop and a lot of attendants. Did the night shift. I had a lot of drive. I pushed. I did great, I thought, at that. So with that in mind, I did some other jobs, went to different companies, but I ended up becoming a salesperson for a Toyota dealership. Let me tell you, I was horrible as being a salesman, because the dealership that I was at, they wanted me to lie and manipulate and all that other stuff. And since I came from, I guess, a part of life that people struggled with bills and they wanted the best deals, I wanted to try to help them get the best deals. So I pushed, because really you're supposed to be on the side of the customers coming in. And I hate how these salespeople will sell you lemons and sell you stuff that's wrong and try to make as much money off you. I thought that was just a horrible way. I mean, how do you go to sleep at night? That's kind of how I looked at it. So I try to help people. I was supposed to sell, I think minimum was 8 cars a month, and I was selling like 5 or 6. But all my customers loved me because I helped them get the best deal that I could for them. Didn't really make any money off of that, just enough to pay some bills. So after about 11 months, they ended up letting me go, basically. They loved me. That's why I stayed there as long as I did. But I couldn't do what they wanted me to do. So I enjoy finding deals for people, and I've really actually thought about doing that, charging a fee and help find vehicles for people. But that's just one of my ideas because I enjoy finding deals in general, even for myself. And I think I'd be pretty good at doing that as a business. But anywho, keep on going. Um, so then I happened to come across, because my dad was a guard for the shipyard in Northrop Grumman, and I ended up going there as like almost like a last resort. I needed to make some money. So I applied because most of my family was in sheet metal, and then my dad was a guard, so I ended up putting those two, applied for those two positions. But since they knew my father, they brought me in and asked if I ever thought about being an electrician, since I had a background in computers at the time. Didn't know. I was like, I'll give it a shot. So I ended up getting into it. Found out I actually like being an electrician. I did a pretty good job, got in their apprenticeship program, only stayed about a year and a half or so after getting an apprenticeship, and I met my wife. And I love telling this story, this part of it, because it's unusual. So I met my wife through my best friend and her best friend dating. They introduced us, and within 2 weeks, I proposed to her. And within 6 weeks of us meeting each other, we were married. We've been married for over 11 years now. I'm not saying it was easy. It's definitely trying to figure each other out. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, definitely. And I think the main reasons why I did that is I worked with one of my bosses at the Ford dealership, and he woke up one day and said, I wanted to be married. So he found a girl, he said, you want to get married? She said, yeah, and they were married for like 25 years. So I was like, well, I've tried all the other stuff or whatever, the living with someone, the dating them for a long time, trying to just figure things out. And it never worked in the situations that I was in to get married and all this other stuff. So I met her, and we both actually fought it. We really didn't want to talk to each other that way. But it was strange. It was like just a connection that just happened. And I looked at, when I went to visit her, which she was about 4.5 hours away from me. She had her daughter. She had her own place. She made more money than I did. And she was a hard worker. She busted her butt. And I never thought a city boy as myself would get with a country girl. But lo and behold, we did. And I just figured if she can take care of herself, I don't have to worry about taking care of her. She's not getting with me because of money, because she makes more than me. And most of the females that I got with, it was more of they needed me to survive and to live, because they didn't make enough money to live on their own, or something to that effect. So that's kind of how I got to where I am now. I came up here, her neighbor was an electrician, asked me, hey, since I'm there, you want to go to the hall in the union? And the next thing you know, I'm applying for their apprenticeship program in the union. So I've been actually now in the union, went through the apprenticeship program, a 5-year program. Great program, by the way. Anybody that's interested in getting into the electrical trade, I suggest that you go through an apprenticeship program. Or if you want to be an electrician in general. I know sometimes the non-union basically talk down to the union and the union to the non-union, but it all comes down to, we're all electricians. The union, you should be trained well in. You make better money, better retirement, and stuff like that. But I suggest, go to your hall if you have a local hall, and talk to them about their apprenticeship program. Get into it. So I've been in it about 11 years now, I believe, and I make pretty good money. When I graduated, my wife got basically laid off from the government, and as a civilian, and so we decided to work on having kids then. So she ended up, since she was home, she's now a stay-at-home mom. She's great at what she does. Frustrates her a lot, and I probably don't help with it either. But we've worked really hard to get where we are at, and now, as you can kind of see in the background, this is kind of our backyard, about a third or a quarter of it. And we just moved in here a couple months ago. Like I said, we've worked hard. We're still working hard. We got a lot of money to still put into this place. So I guess my bigger thing is work hard, have the discipline to work hard, and in my opinion, put God in your life. It helps, because I really don't think I would have gotten this far without him. Matter of fact, I'll go back to one of the times I had my own place. I guess I was about 23, 24, somewhere in that range. And something didn't feel right. A lot of people felt uncomfortable in my apartment. And I lived basically across the street from a Catholic graveyard. And I really, really think that it was haunted. But that's when I really started getting into the Bible more. I ended up losing my job, and it took me almost 11 months to get another job. But every month, one way or another, I managed to get the money together and pay my rent. So it wasn't easy. Matter of fact, during winter time, I didn't have money for power, so I used candlelight and had to take freezing cold showers. But what I'm getting at is, I read the Bible every night. He got me through it. Somehow he got me the money that I needed to pay my bills, and he got me out of that situation, along with the Section 8 situation and so many other situations. So now he's helped me get this property, and I'm hoping to do things with my YouTube channel. I've got a website that I'm putting together now for automotive, like detailing and custom parts and stuff, installing and everything. Working on that as well, along with some other things that I have in mind. But I just kind of wanted to break down who I am and where I plan on going, and that's kind of what this video is about. So hopefully it wasn't too horribly boring for y'all, but I love hearing different stories about people and what they have to say. But I also, again, I love business and business-minded people. So if there's any business people out there, especially successful ones, I would love to hear from you. You can comment below, email me. Anybody that's in the Winchester, Virginia area, let me know. I would love to talk with you, meet up, for coffee or something like that, and just talk, bounce some ideas or whatever, and see where you got where you were. Maybe have a little interview or whatever. Because there's so many awesome people in this world, and we're losing the sight with all this technology. And I mean, it's great, but it's bad too, that no one knows how to talk with each other anymore. So a lot of people get their information off Google and YouTube. basically people can put whatever information they want out there, and people decide if they want to believe it or not. Now, I don't want to put out there any crap or anything like that for people to believe that's not true. But me personally, this is a learning experience, and I would love to learn from more successful people, because you always want to be basically the dumbest one in the group. I mean, because you will learn so much more from people when you're around that. I mean, don't get me wrong on this. I mean, I don't think anybody's stupid by any means or dumb, but what I'm getting at is you want people that are more intelligent or more knowledgeable. There we go. More knowledgeable about situations and stuff that you want to be involved in. Like, I love business. I love learning new things about business. And if I can find more people around me that have that mindset for different ideas, and I mean, maybe collaborating with them or whatever on a business, I mean, that is where you want to go. Like, if you're into cars, what do? You go to car shows and you start learning from what other people have and have done to their vehicle. You start asking them questions. That's kind of the same exact thing with business. Or if you want to learn history, you talk to people that have lived it. That's what you want. You want more knowledge on whatever you're doing, the subject that you want to work on. And that's what I hope everybody does in their life, is to talk to people, especially the older people. They've lived life, y'all. They have lived life. And none of us young people want to just sit down and talk with them and listen to them. As soon as you sit down with an older person, what happens? The phones come out. The tablets come out. No one talks anymore. No one gets any information. It's crazy. Just listen to them. They will teach you almost everything that you want to know. Matter of fact, I've met quite a few millionaires in my life. Most of them were when I was selling cars. And truthfully, all the ones that I've met were happy. And it was because they didn't go and buy the biggest house or the flashiest cars. The ones that were the happiest people seemed to get the cheap cars, and they had an okay house, and they had just normal clothes. Matter of fact, one of them came in to buy a Crown Victoria for his grandson, and he wouldn't spend over $4,000, I think it was, if I remember correctly, and he wanted me to deliver it to his house. So I talked with him, spoke with him, and listened to him a lot about different things. And all he had was Hawaiian shirts and shorts and flip-flops. That's all he wore. You would have never thought he was a millionaire. But he had his stuff together, and the things I wish I was able to actually sit down and talk with him more about. I mean, it would have been so awesome. Back then, I didn't have the knowledge that I do now, where you can learn a lot from people, especially older people. But technology, yeah, some of the younger people, you can definitely learn some stuff off too. Don't get me wrong, younger people are pretty intelligent too. But, I mean, and just open your eyes and start listening. Ask questions. Stop interrupting people. But that's what I plan on doing. That's where I'm going with. I love business. I'm going to push business. You heard about my past or whatever, and kind of how I got to this point. Now I got a great wife, 3 wonderful children, and I still go to my electrical job in the daytime. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and for the most part, I enjoy my job. However, I would love to get a couple businesses going so I can stay home and enjoy my family a little bit more. Matter of fact, let me turn around here. Look at my dog. He's just enjoying the sun. So with all that being said, I hope y'all have an awesome and blessed week. I hope it gets better for everybody. Any information and suggestions that y'all have, place them down in the comment. I'd love to hear them. Also, click that thumbs up if you like this, or thumbs down. Hey, I'm okay with that too. Criticize me, give me constructive criticism. I'm okay with that too. It all goes to the better good. And please subscribe if this even remotely was interesting or informational. I'd greatly appreciate it if you follow. Again, I've said this in a couple other channels or a couple other videos. I'm starting from the bottom. I don't have anybody to really help me, push me up, and I don't know if I'd really want someone to kind of promote me and push me up. I think you learn more by starting at the bottom and kind of doing it yourself and figuring it out yourself. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I hope we have some more information and videos coming soon. I appreciate it. Talk to y'all later. Bye.